I'll give you a larval tier.
These are
Are you giving a larval tier?
Yeah. Yeah, Bach gone. So I think he's at... Hold on, let me go check the academy. Don't go too far ahead of... So it didn't give you the option to give him a larval tier? Do you have a larval tier to give him? Oh my god, look at him!
I like 7. What, does he look like goated or hideous?
Yes. Give him a larval tier and move next, so he will respond. If you rest again, the quest line will end. So if I rest... Does he just die sitting there?
He dies with his ass.
No way, he just... No, he dies with the cheeks up. That's crazy. No. So, bro, Bach. That was fucking criminal. Oh. He just... He did his up, down, just flew right out the door and flew off the map.
a customer. Goodbye. Hello again, good customer.
Interesting.
Goodbye. Till next.
Wait, there's a second Radon back over there. What the fuck? Did you see that?
Bro, he's like Bellberry Hunter.
What the fuck?
Shit, if you want to go, you gotta get past me.
Type shit. What the fuck is hitting? I'm at 2 Radons! What the fuck? What?
Wait.
What the? I got 2 What the fuck was that?
Yo, he was like multiplying Shadow Clone Jutsu type shit.
What the fuck was that?
Bro, it was like shadow, like, bro.
Hello everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed those intro clips as much as I did. As you can see from the title of this video, me and my friend Lit 100% completed Elden Ring. This is a massive task that took us quite a long time, so I would appreciate it if you could drop a like and subscribe. In fact, here's the exact amount of time it took us to complete this challenge. My very first recording for this run was on July 18th. I don't intend for this to be a crazy long video like one might expect with something like this, so rather than me go through all this gameplay that I have, then edit a 5-hour long video and upload it, I'm just going to showcase some gameplay from this run and talk about everything that transpired. Now, I will have a small disclaimer. This may not be a true 100% run. We did not collect all the cookbooks because we didn't really care for them, and there was one specific spirit ash that we didn't get, which was the Dung Eater puppet. This one ash would have required us to do a new game +3 playthrough, and we didn't really feel like it. We tried to keep it to +2, and so sorry. Also, when I display our inventory at the end and you see an item that is missing, feel free to comment. We are aware that we could have missed something, but we're pretty sure that we got everything. And with that, let's get into it. So going into this, our initial plan was just to collect all your weapons and all your armor, do every side quest, and beat every boss. However, that did change as we started to go through it. We figured that since we were going to do all of that, we might as well do the rest of it and collect the spirit ashes, the sorceries, the incantations, and everything to make it a true 100% run. But we also figured that we couldn't technically just do everything in one playthrough. So for our first playthrough, we decided to maximize everything that we could. We did all of our farming, we did all of our bosses, everything in the first playthrough that we could. That way our New Game Plus playthrough was just literally cleanup duty. So the first thing I want to mention is the grafted scion at the beginning when you go in, or before you go into Limgrave. Now what normally happens is you're supposed to die to the initial encounter, and if you choose to do a new game run, this is where you beat the scion and get its drops. But since we were trying to get most of the things in one playthrough, this meant we literally reset our games until we beat the grafted scion at the beginning. We actually kind of beat him quicker than we thought we would. And with the scion down, we got to the real deal. We try to tackle this by areas of the map, similar to how you like go through the game. We would start with Limgrave and then move to Liurnia and Caelid and so on and so forth. For the most part, I was handling all the quests, and then later on I took on the sorceries and incantations, while Lit handled the bosses, the weapons, and the armor. He had a really helpful guide. I don't know where he got it from. If I can get the link for it, I'll put it down in the description. But it had so much information. I was Elden Ring wiki, everything. You know, I mean, you can find it all on Google, but we had all kinds of guides and sheets pulled up to help us get through it, and it was still very confusing, especially the quests. Like the DLC quests were crazy. Now, one thing I will say is that when you decide to fight all your bosses and you collect everything in one run, you get so many larval tiers and you get so many weapons, and you can really mix things up a bunch. The main weapon I wanted to use going into the run from the very beginning was Helfen's Steeple, which I would say I used for a good bit of the run. But we tried out so many weapons. I used some Twin Blade, the Rotten Great Axe, the Steeple, and all kinds of stuff. It kept the run from being less monotonous as we were tackling everything. One thing that also is kind of weird about getting a true 100% run is that the endings are a little weird. So obviously you need to beat the game several times to get multiple endings. Luckily, the 3 main endings you need are the Elden Lord ending, the Frenzied Flame, and the Age of Stars. In my initial run of the game way back when, I did the Elden Lord ending, and then our Godskin Duo playthrough, which if you guys haven't seen it, I'll put something up on the screen or something, but you guys should check that out. Me and Lit got the Frenzied Flame ending in that run, and so that means I only needed the Ronnie ending to achieve the specific achievement towards the game's Platinum Medal. But we weren't just trying to get the Plat Medal. Obviously, if you do a run like this, you're going to get the Plat Medal. And real quick, while we are on the topic of endings, I'd like to think that we did something cool. So Hyada's quest is the quest that leads you to the Frenzied Flame ending. And so to complete her quest, while also doing Ronnie's ending, we would take the Frenzied Flame, we burn the Erd Tree, and then we use Miquella's Needle to rid ourselves of the flame and continue with Ronnie. I was hoping this would give us some more dialogue or another cutscene, but it didn't. And the reason I hoped for that is that when you take the flame, Melina says she'll track you down and kill you. But then we just use the flame to take the tree down, then get rid of it with the needle. And in my head, I feel like there's something missing, whereas like you practically just keep Melina from unaliving herself while not succumbing to the frenzied flame, if that makes sense. So I was kind of a little disappointed there, but it is what it is. But back to the quest. The other main quests that we had trouble with, I would say, are the intertwining quest between Seluvis, Nefeli, and Gideon. The reason for this is that if you give the potion to Gideon, you miss out on some of the Spirit Ashes, aka the Dung Eater Spirit Ash, like I said earlier. The other main issue we had going into our first playthrough was the Remembrances. We were under the impression that we could have duped the Remembrances, but we weren't sure how many times and stuff like that. So nevertheless, we had to go through at the very end after we beat every boss and try to figure out which Remembrances we were going to dupe and which Remembrances we weren't going to dupe. And so with the Remembrances that we duped, we had it set up to where we didn't technically have to complete the game in our second playthrough. So we duped things like Melania, Godfrey, Morgott, I believe, stuff like that, to where we wouldn't actually technically need to complete the game to get to the DLC, because in reality all we needed to do was get to the DLC in our New Game Plus playthrough, so we didn't dupe Moog's Remembrance or anything like that. Nevertheless, on this initial playthrough, we did everything that we possibly could. And boy, let me tell you, when you have to farm items that have a 0.05% drop rate, it is a real pain in the ass. Luckily, in Elden Ring, the more arcane you have, the more it increases your item discovery. So we maxed our arcane and we would use items like silver fowl foots or talismans and things like that to boost our farming capabilities. But farming was easily the worst part of the base game. Going into the DLC, we made sure to use arcane weapons so we could farm the items as we went, but we didn't do that for the base game. However, we ended up beating the Elden Beast, we farmed our items, and we gathered any last minute things that we could, and we went into the DLC. Going into this DLC, we wanted it to be as easy as possible. We weren't trying to make this a challenge run or anything, we were just wanting to get it over with as quick as possible. So we wasted no time gathering scad frags and fighting bosses. As I previously mentioned, the main DLC issue we had was the confusing intertwining quests. These quests were mainly with Leto, Hornsent, and Ansbach. You literally cannot get all of their quest items in one playthrough, so we had to carefully select what we did throughout the quest to maximize the rewards to make our New Game Plus run easy. Another issue we had in our first DLC run was getting all the physic tiers from the furnace golems. These things were an absolute pain in the ass, and killing all of them rewards you with different flask tiers. I probably died to these guys more than the DLC bosses. In fact, many of the DLC bosses we beat within 5 tries. I know the first run of the DLC, I think I died to the Promised Consort Radahn like 20 times, which isn't that bad in my opinion. But after we collected everything and we duped our remembrances, we beat all the bosses, and we gathered and farmed everything that we could in both the base game and the DLC, we began our New Game Plus run. And man, let me tell you, we flew through this New Game Plus. Literally, it was just a speed run. All we needed to do was clean up any quests that we needed and beat the remembrance bosses that we didn't have. In fact, we carefully selected which remembrances that we needed to dupe in the previous run, so we didn't even have to technically beat the game in our second playthrough. Like, we didn't have to fight Godfrey, Elden Beast, Malekith, and stuff like that because we duped their remembrances and previously collected their items beforehand. The base game playthrough was super easy, but also the DLC was very easy too. We went through and already basically had everything done and our scad frags collected. So really, our new game playthroughs are just speedruns. I won't spend too much time talking about these new game runs as they were very, very short. However, I will say it did take me way longer to beat Consort Radahn the second time than it did the first time, because I kept choking when I'd have him like 10% HP, which was very frustrating. But anyways, after all of my yapping, I'll finally wrap this up and I'll showcase our final inventory. If someone with ball knowledge notices that we're missing something, you can always comment. I won't take any criticism, but like I said, I do think that we did get everything aside from the cookbooks. The last thing I'll say is be on the lookout. There are some things that are in the works. I'm looking to get back into more Pokemon VGC as Champions is right around the corner and Legend ZA. And we have ideas of going back and playing the Dark Souls games. You also can't forget Night Rain, the enhanced bosses it has, and the DLC that's supposed to be coming soon. So there's lots going on. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Okay, so here we are. We're here on the base game. And like I said, I was going to display all the inventory stuff that we had. So we're going to start out just straight from the beginning. First of all, this is item crafting. Straight from the beginning, we have our Spirit Ashes. So I know for a fact that we're missing 2 Spirit Ashes. Both of those Spirit Ashes require us to do a New Game 3 playthrough. It is the Dung Eater Puppet and the Jolan and Anna Spirit Ash in the DLC. Like I said in the previous section, like I didn't want to go New Game Plus 3. So we're just going to have to chalk those 2. If I ever get around to doing a New Game Plus 3, we'll pick those up. But those are the only 2 that I know we're missing. According to Google, I think it said we need like 82 total Spirit Ashes, and we have 80. But like we got all of these. I'm not really going to like go over each individual one. I'm kind of just going to show that like we have all these. These are the ones that you have to get. They're puppets. So, really, I mean, I don't really know what else to say for that. And then we go to our, first of all, look how many, like, smithing stones we have, too. I have 96 smithing stone 6s, and this is from where we were farming. We have all of our tiers. There's 40 total tiers. I think it ends here with the oil-soaked tier. So, it should be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Boom. You're supposed to have 40 total tiers. You're supposed to have 84 total sorceries, which we do have. For some reason, when you Google the sorceries, it says like 98 or something. But when you look at the wiki, it says there's only 82 total sorceries. But we have like all the legendary sorceries, like the moons, the twin moons, all that stuff. Raikards. These are the DLC ones. And then we have like all these DLC ones are here. So then we go into the incants. Same thing for the incants. We're supposed to have 129 total incants. And we do have 129 total incants. That also includes like all the DLC ones. You know, I think bells are somewhere in here. You got Mesmers. I think bells are at the bottom. Yeah, bells, Tyrannian bells, Flame Lightning. We have all those. The Ashes of War, there's 116 total. We have 116. In fact, we had to take... It's a little confusing with the Ashes of War because you had to take them off of weapons. Like, some of the weapons you get in-game, like the... I know the one example is like the halberd that you get from the Revenger Shack. I think has an Ash of War on it. You have to make sure you take off or it doesn't come up in your inventory. I can't remember the name of the Ash of War. And then weapons. I didn't actually count out the total amount of weapons we had, but I'm pretty sure this is all of them. I'll tell you what. Where's this thing at? This guy right here had like the Noble Slender Sword had like a 0.05% drop rate from some mobs. And this thing took us, I swear, like 30 minutes to farm. It was insane. Some of these were like a pain in the ass to get. But we have all the legendary weapons. We have all the remembrance weapons, Malekiths, Radons. Like, I mean, we literally have everything that I think we possibly can have except for the cookbooks. And so what's cool is if I ever decide to do a New Game Plus 3 playthrough or whatever, that like I could just choose any of these weapons. And it was like that for our New Game 2 playthrough because we had most of the weapons already. But it really made for some cool fun things that we could do with like different weapons. We have all the bows, I think, and all the staves and the seals. So, and then the shields, I think I actually had to recently go back and collect another shield. I think it was the Wolf Crest shield that was in the DLC. I didn't have it apparently, so I had to go back and collect it. But I could, the weapons and the armor are the things that's trickiest because I think we could potentially be missing one, but I'm pretty sure we have them all. The armor sets, I mean, like you can see all the scarabs. We have all the imp heads. We have 2 jars, you know. The divine beast helm was also kind of a pain in the ass. Where's it at? This guy right here. This is not to be confused with the divine beast head, which is the very big one that you get for beating the divine beast dancing lion. This one you get from a drop in one of the mobs from a near a limb. And so he was kind of a pain in the ass to get because those mobs are basically a boss fighting themselves. So, and then armor. A lot of the armor sets are the same because like all the armors have the gauntlets and the pants, but the helmets, sometimes there's different helmets. Like Saint Trina's Blossom, I actually currently have that equipped. I look cute, don't I? But Saint Trina's Blossom doesn't have like an armor set. You know what I'm saying? So like some things are a little confusing because you can get helmets from some places, you can get armor from some places. I know some of them are missing gauntlets too, but for the most part, like we have all this stuff, and like all these soldier gauntlets look the same, bro. It's crazy. Like they're literally just the same. Some of them are the same color, like the Cuckoo Knights and the Gelmir Knights. But I kind of wanted to just showcase all of this. I could showcase the platinum medal, but I'm sure you guys believe that we got the plat medal from this. So I think I've rambled enough. It's been 7 minutes already. So as always, like I said, catch you in the next one.